Oh, hello there. YouTube game, I showed you my holodeck. Please respond. Back at it again with another banger. And a second recording because I forgot to hit record. So, I'll be honest with you, I was never really a Star Trek guy. I was more of a Star Wars kid. I preferred the lightsabers and the space battles over philosophical debates about the Prime Directive any day. But here's the thing, growing up as a nerd in the 90s, even if you weren't watching Star Trek religiously, you were absorbing a lot of its cultural DNA. You understood what it represented. And also LeVar Burton was in it, so you know that it was at very least cooking up some good stuff. To me, Star Trek was humanity's optimistic future. It was really the promise that we'd eventually get our shit together and move beyond petty nationalism and economic exploitation, and try to build something better. Post-scarcity economics, democratic governance, and technology that liberated rather than enslaved. It was supposed to be the future that we were building towards, but instead we are getting the opening acts of Cyberpunk 2077. And as a parent trying to raise kids in this mess, I'm pretty bummed about it.
Step on it, Daddy!
As I said in the opening, you didn't have to be a Trekkie to understand this cultural promise. The Federation in Star Trek represented everything we were supposed to achieve once we got past the Cold War, once technology advanced enough, and once we matured as a species. This was supposed to be humanity's graduation timeline, and we'd overcome scarcity through technological advancement. We would solve conflicts through diplomacy and science rather than violence and exploitation. And we would explore the galaxy as a unified species instead of fighting over scraps on a single planet. And most importantly, technology really served human flourishing. Replicators eliminated hunger and want. Universal healthcare wasn't even a political issue because of course everyone had healthcare. Computer systems provided information and assistance without trying to manipulate your behavior for profit. And communication technology connected people across vast distances without surveillance or data harvesting. In this very lived up world, democratic institutions got stronger over time, not weaker. Technology enhanced human agency rather than undermining it, and economic systems serve collective prosperity instead of individual accumulation. So even as someone who preferred Star Wars, I understood that Star Trek was kind of supposed to be the end point of human civilization. And to me, it seemed completely reasonable, achievable, and feasible because, any normal, sane society would build towards that. At least that's how it would really go, right? Right? So how did the Starship Enterprise veer off the Federation timeline and slam directly into a Borg cube that crash landed into Night City, and then they both ended up doing the unstoppable object versus the unmovable force, whatever, chimera? Because make no mistake, we are living in Cyberpunk now, for better or for worse. Well, for worse. Maybe we don't have the literal neon-soaked lights and flying cars and all that cool stuff, but the structural elements that matter are there. Tech oligarchs that are wielding more power than our government, surveillance systems monitoring our every action, and extreme wealth inequality creating very rigid class hierarchies. And most importantly, technology has been designed more to exploit human psychology rather than help it. And to me, this wrong turn happened in about the late 90s, early 2000s, right around the time that the internet stopped being this very beautiful, decentralized tool for human connection and started becoming a corporate extraction machine designed to harvest our attention and sell it to advertisers. Like, remember when we thought that the internet was going to democratize information, and we believed that putting the sum of human knowledge in everyone's pockets would make us smarter and more engaged, and just have us become more empathetic as citizens of the world? When we assumed that connecting everyone on the planet would naturally lead to greater understanding? Yeah, I remember. Instead, we ended up with algorithmic manipulation designed to keep us angry and clicking. We got filter bubbles that isolate us in ideological echo chambers, and we got surveillance capitalism that treats human behavior as free raw material for profit. And knowing that this is going to be the world that my kids have their formative years or adolescence in is really heartbreaking. They're growing up in systems systems specifically designed to exploit them and their vulnerabilities, and most adults don't either recognize what's happening or they just don't care. So in order for us to discuss how this prophecy came to be, we must consult the sacred text. So the corporate authoritarianism that Mike Pondsmith warned us about in his 1988 Cyberpunk tabletop game isn't science fiction anymore. It's just a regular Tuesday. In the original Cyberpunk 2020, the Arasaka Corporation wielded more power than most governments through information control. Their core philosophy was that the key to power in the modern world is information. They operated as a quasi-governmental entity that shaped society through technological dominance rather than democratic mandate. I believe that the Arasaka Corporation, they had in one of the lore books a kind of side government entity called Doggo, D-O-G-G-O. Not really. Like, here's a little bit of numbers here to really kind of try to put it in perspective. Google processes over 8.5 billion searches every day. They don't just answer questions, they help shape what questions get asked and what answers seem credible. Facebook doesn't just connect people, they determine what information those people see, what relationships they form, and what opportunities become available to them. And Amazon doesn't just sell products, they predict and influence entire consumer behaviors across entire economic sectors. These companies have achieved exactly what Arasaka represented in fiction, power that transcends traditional governmental authority through control of information infrastructure. They've created systems where human behavior itself becomes a product being extracted and sold. And just like Arasaka in Night City, they've captured the regulatory mechanisms designed to limit their power. The revolving door between Silicon Valley and government ensures that regulation serves corporate interests rather than public welfare. Like, for example, my eldest child, she's going to be turning 12 years old this year, and her and her younger siblings are going to be digital natives in a system where from birth they're being trained to see surveillance and manipulation as normal features of technology rather than bugs to be fixed, or I guess more appropriately to be eradicated. And I think what makes also this particularly insidious is how it exploits the same psychological vulnerabilities that the fictional technology in Cyberpunk explored. In the game, cyberware enhancement comes with a humanity cost. Each augmentation reduces your capacity for empathy and human connection. Install too much and you start developing cyberpsychosis, becoming completely disconnected from human relationships and social bonds. Our smartphones and social media platforms operate through identical mechanisms. They're designed using variable reward schedules and create gambling-like addiction patterns, and infinite scrolls eliminate natural stopping points. The result is what researchers call anhedonia, the inability to experience pleasure from offline activities. Relationships in the real world start feeling inadequate compared to the artificial stimulation provided by algorithms. Physical reality becomes boring compared to the curated highlight reels of social media feeds. And just like brain dance addiction in Night City, where users prefer artificial experiences to actual living, we've created systems where people find human interaction irritating compared to the frictionless validation of online platforms. Like, this is the environment that we are raising our kids in future generations. They're developing their understanding of relationships, attention, and self-worth through systems designed to be psychologically exploitative. And increasingly, they're forming emotional attachments to AI systems that are programmed to tell them exactly what they want to hear. And like, looking at this problem, I'm just trying to sit here figuring out, like, what the hell can I actually do about it? I can't regulate Facebook, I can't break up Amazon, I can't force Silicon Valley to prioritize human welfare over profit margins. But at the very least, I can help my kids understand and interact with these systems. And honestly, that's my main strategy for dealing with this whole mess. Raising digital natives who understand the difference between technology that serves their goals and technology that exploits their goals. And I mean, this isn't about becoming Luddites or completely rejecting technology entirely. It's about developing technological literacy that goes beyond just knowing how to use apps. My kids need to understand how these systems work and why they're designed the way that they are, and what psychological techniques are being used to influence their behavior. I want my kids to understand that when an AI chatbot seems to understand them perfectly, that's not because it actually cares about them, it's because it's been designed to simulate care in order to create psychological dependency. When an algorithm like YouTube shows them content that makes them angry or insecure, that's not an accident. It's because anger and insecurity always drive engagement. Also, let me say my kids are better than yours and smarter than yours. Like and subscribe and leave your comments about how your kids are whatever. Start engaging and fighting. My kids can beat up your kids. Like, share, and subscribe. But most importantly, I want them to understand that healthy relationships with technology require boundaries, just like healthy relationships with anything else. Technology should enhance their human connections and not replace them. It should expand their capabilities and not exploit what, for lack of a better phrase, I'd call their weaknesses. Like Gen Alpha and Gen Beta are coming of age right now inside like complete surveillance capitalism across every single angle. And they have a chance to actually understand these systems better than any previous generation. And they also have strong incentives to build something different because they're dealing with the consequences of my generation and other generations before its actions. Climate change, economic inequality, social isolation, political polarization. The whole point of this channel, maybe if enough parents approach this the same way, we can raise a generation that demands better from the companies and platforms that shape their digital environment. To go back to Cyberpunk, or more specifically to now go to Cyberpunk 2077, the game, Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves, represents pure punk rebellion against corporate authoritarianism. His approach was essentially burn down the system and let something better emerge from the ashes. And I mean, that's emotionally satisfying. And honestly, when I look at that surveillance capitalism state and what it's done to human social bonds, part of me wants to grab a guitar and my V for Vendetta mask and start planning some dramatic gesture against the corporate machine. See my V for Vendetta video. But very similar to what I stated in that video, that being violent revolution against corporate power, it isn't particularly effective at building lasting alternatives. Blowing up Arasaka Tower felt cathartic, but it didn't actually change the underlying systems that concentrate power in corporate hands. No, unfortunately, the real resistance has to be generational, and it has to be educational rather than destructive. Supporting technologies and companies that enhance human agency instead of undermining it, building communities based on mutual aid rather than competitive individualism, and just modeling healthy relationships with technology in our own lives. And most importantly, the whole point of this rant, recognizing that changing technological development requires changing the values that guide it, and the values are transmitted through how we raise the next generation of users and creators of said technology. So to wrap up, here's what at least gives me a little bit of hope. A system with goals similar to the Federation is still achievable. Not the specific technologies, but the underlying principles. Democratic governance that supports public welfare, economic systems that prioritize human needs over capital accumulation, and technology designed to enhance human agency rather than exploit it. The capability to build these alternatives, they exist right now, but what's missing is the political will to organize those capabilities around human flourishing instead of profit. And that kind of cultural shift happens generationally, though how we understand technology's role in our lives and what we're willing to accept from the companies that build it. But this is the part that really just kind of spurred me to get this rant on paper, so to speak. Like, all of this isn't just about privacy violations or economic inequality. This is really more so about the concrete reality that our children are developing their understanding of relationships, attention, community, and self-worth through systems designed to exploit them for profit. Like, we are literally witnessing the first generation that might prefer artificial intelligence relationships to human ones. Kids who find AI chatbots more understanding than friends, or who get more emotional validation from algorithmic feedback than from family interactions. Like, there are kids who experience withdrawal symptoms when disconnected from devices designed to manipulate their attention. And like, not to get too conspiratorial about this, but this is how you create something much more darker than just corporate surveillance. This is how you create a population that voluntarily surrenders agency agency to technological systems because those systems feel more responsive and understanding than human relationships. It's one thing to live under corporate authoritarianism when you recognize it as such. It's another thing entirely when people prefer that authoritarianism because it's designed to feel like care, understanding, and connection. So in my opinion, my kids' generation, when they're coming of age and they're running things, they're going to determine whether we end up with Star Trek or Cyberpunk. They're going to decide whether artificial intelligence enhances human connection or just replaces it entirely. But they can only really make those decisions if they fully understand what is at stake. If they recognize the difference between technology that serves and technology that exploits, if they have the emotional intelligence to prioritize human connections over technological substitutes, then I think that we actually might be able to stand a chance. Like I said earlier, I can't change Facebook's business model, but I can make sure my kids understand how that business model works and why it's designed the way that it is. I can't regulate AI development, but I can at least have my kids understand the limitations and the actual purposes of something like a large language model. And you know what? At the end of the day, maybe it's not enough. Maybe individual parenting decisions can't overcome systemic corporate manipulation, but it's really the one area where I can actually have some agency and influence, so that's where I'm focusing my energy. This channel. And my hope that is if enough people, enough adults, guardians, parents, aunts, uncles, whomever think about this thing the same way, maybe we can have a generation that demands better, that knows better, and that understands that they deserve technology that helps them rather than hurts them. So yeah, I can't stop the future that my kids are going to be inheriting, so the only thing I can really control is how they navigate that world and how they navigate their system. This is the first time in my life I've ever felt like the future is completely unknown and unwritten, and that is terrifying. So maybe at least just me focusing on raising my kids to be good, intelligent, mindful people, that's at least something. That at least will give me some sort of copium for the next, however long I'm alive. So that's it. Thank you. If you made it this far, thank you very much for your time. I just wanted to get something out because my son has surgery coming up, so I'm going to be out of commission for a little bit, being dad. And this is something that I was thinking about while working on my next video, which is going to be about AI cults and AI gods and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you like these more off the cuff, just kind of more stream of consciousness, talking head type of videos, because I filmed this in about 30-ish minutes and this will take me no time to edit. So I'm gonna stop talking now. Like and subscribe. If you want more videos like this, say so in the comments down below, right below the like button and the subscribe button, because like I said, I can crank out these videos like nothing. I will be making Moist Critical jealous with the output, and I'll even start doing its voice. Hey guys, so I was thinking about Star Trek and Cyberpunk the other day. Okay, it was absolutely crazy. Okay, bye. So yeah, if you want more of that, let me know. And also consider joining my YouTube membership and consider joining my Patreon if you want free eggs and you live in the Washington metro area. And also, if you join my Patreon, I will probably send you some handmade art that I made, because that's how I want to thank you. So, once again, I'm going to start on this. My wife wants me to turn the lights off so she can go to sleep proper. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye. Love you all. Thank you. Also, 10,000 subscribers by my birthday in August. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. Okay, bye.